Good afternoon, loyal listeners, followers, watchers, people who are addicted to Ladies Wot Pod. I don't think there's many of those, but
I think we do.
do you think there's
there's one or two?
one or two who are quite keen on it?
Yes.
Welcome to episode 18, and it's a very special episode because we're in the same room.
Yes,
this
in
is
that special
actually
room.
Yeah, in my work
Special bookcase.
and Jimmy the Gnome.
Jimmy the Gnome, yes, who's keeping a close eye on us.
Yes. So
Yes.
we're all here in South Northamptonshire because we've been somewhere today, haven't we?
We've been to the garden.
We've been to the gardens. We've been attending training. We didn't take part in training. I was observing.
Well, we nearly did at the end.
Well, yes, thanks to Ollie Slytone.
Half killing us.
Yeah. So we've had a very jolly afternoon watching the boys train and try and work out some of the rules for some of the things they do.
Well, I have said that the rules of this team are arcane and complicated, and even when the S&C guys daily trying to explain to us what they were, it went straight over my head.
Yeah.
It was something about not touching it in the middle.
Oh, yes, or not mugging them in the middle or something. I have no idea what was going on.
Yes.
It was a mystery to me, but they seemed very jolly, and it was fascinating. And I want to know what's the shape of our D as well.
Yes. What's the shape of your D?
Yeah.
Asked Sam Vesti.
I don't think he was expecting a reply.
He wasn't going to get one from us.
D is normally that shape, or possibly that shape.
A cataphor, lowercase.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was good fun.
It was, and it didn't rain too much either.
It was windy. It was windy.
It was very. Now, actually, it's better than last week, where seriously I thought I'd have to get guy ropes out.
Oh, and yes, true. Better than it was on Saturday when it got very, very blowy, and I had to go and buy a hat.
You did, didn't you?
To go and buy a hat because it was blowing this way, and because there weren't anybody else sitting on our row, which is very unusual. There's nobody to block the wind. I thought somebody had left the door open, and I just couldn't see.
So those of you in the church you stand, you don't usually experience weather.
No, we don't have weather in
No,
the church stand. That's what we pay for. We don't pay for weather or sun. We know what it's going to be like. We're in the shade. It's going to be cold, but we can deal with that. We can at least see.
Right.
And that's our...
But our colleagues in the Carlsberg stand get all of it.
Yes, raining.
So,
yeah.
The
sun.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, perhaps the hat, they realised that they weren't selling enough.
So they left the door open.
Just left the door open.
How good is that? I wouldn't put anything past the marketing department.
Yeah, well, got to sell in the shop.
So this week we haven't got any guests. We were hoping to have a couple of guests.
Oh, but they're prized.
Yes, events overtook us, so we're just doing just the two of us because we think we've got enough to chat about. With
well, the list in front of me.
Yeah, the list is there to go on about. So, and I say we've been to training and we've seen a potential new star in the making, haven't we?
Yes. Well, at this time of year, you do see a lot of the under-18 boys starting to get involved. And so we saw a few of the under-18s, which is great to see after their fabulous campaign. It'll be interesting to see when they start. Well, if you think Archie McParland,
yeah,
and amongst others, but of course Henry appeared very quickly when we were playing in those Premiership Rugby Cup games.
Yeah.
In fact, I seem to remember Fergus joking that he had to send a note to the headmaster to get out to play. So
stay up late.
Yes. So I'm really intrigued what's going to happen there, because it's great that we bring them in so quickly.
Yes.
And so
yeah.
And maybe Friday we will see.
We will see.
We will see. But let's go back to Saturday. I'm the visit of our South African friends, the DHL Stormers.
Yes, they were
in a very brightly coloured kits.
Very brightly coloured, very jolly, very loud, I thought.
Yes, a great bunch of supporters turned up, made a lot of noise and waved a lot of flags. It was a very open game where I don't believe there was an offside ever given.
No. Not to say that there shouldn't have been, or a forward pass.
Or a forward pass.
Yeah.
Or, yes.
Yeah,
it was one of those.
It was an exhibition game, wasn't it? And it was refereed like that, and it was interesting. But I think, I was going to say, I nearly said something that we came through unscathed, but we think that might not be the case. But
Well, we don't know.
We'll see on Friday.
We'll find out on Friday.
On the whole, everybody seemed to come through unscathed, and it was good to see Tom Seabrook back.
It certainly was. It certainly was hurtling towards me on several occasions and with a big smile on his face.
Yes.
And he was smiling again today, which is great.
Those South Africans, they were big units, weren't they? Big units. Enormous wardrobes. Fast wardrobes.
Yes, I mean, Jake Garside versus staying number 8, but I thought it was a bit of an unequal struggle.
I mean, what Jake lacks for in height, he makes up. He's got the heart of a lion, that boy.
No fear. Well, I think that number 8 picking up the ball from the base and running over the top of Jake.
Just cruel.
Just harsh, yes.
And then, but picking up the ball and running with it, big Trev. What a moment that was.
A moment of the season, and it's the second time he's done it where he's ended up running 50 metres back to fetch a ball from the backfield and then sidestepping the number 9 who was following up his kick and running 20 metres back again.
But he literally plucked that ball from the toe of that Stormer. From the toe. And then realised he got to shimmy his way back up the pitch. I think possibly at one point you might have thought, I wish you had kicked this out of my hand, but I've got to run with it now. But it was so beautifully done. Absolutely immense.
If that isn't on the highlight reel at the end of the season,
yes,
Mr. Quar, we're having a word.
Yes,
that's that.
Well, they have put it out as a highlight on its own.
Good. Well, it had to be. Yes, it had to be.
That was brilliant. And then, of course, so that was sort of the highlight of the first half for me. And then the second half was when the Stormers' replacement scored the try and peeled off his Stormer shirt to reveal he wanted to be a Saint.
Which was no, actually, he said he wanted to say that.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, much as the conspiracy theorists think that Shieldsy had the pen ready.
No, I don't think so at all. I think it was a really lovely gesture.
Yes,
and that they all seemed to really enjoy being there and the hospitality, and it was good.
It was excellent, and again played in great spirit. Yeah, which is great. I mean, which is what you want for an exhibition game. And again, there was a bunch of lads who would have learnt loads from it. I mean, Will Blister, had a fabulous game, scored 2 brilliant tries, and
played wheels on that lad. I mean, he's not even a wardrobe, but he's fast.
Yes, quite slight young man, but again,
very
fearless.
Yeah.
So again, I think that we're making the best use of these matches, which is which is excellent to see. And then, of course, we had an extra Garside.
We did have an extra Garside.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Alfie.
Slightly larger version.
Yes. And took the pee out of his brother. I've now got a range of photographs of Jake on tiptoe.
Well, you know, what can I say? Who wouldn't? I'm just looking at that photo up there. There's a photo of a group of us up there. I'm not actually on tiptoe because now I'm giving up trying to compete with people. But
yes, Jake hasn't. Jake was, quite determined, and I did notice that the Saints put I thought a lovely article about the family.
It was,
we were delighted. They followed Jake everywhere, so they're regular visitors to Goldington Road. It's brilliant. And when families get a chance to get everybody together on the pitch,
it's superb.
It's absolutely superb. So, and Alfie played really well.
He did.
He got stuck in. Good on him.
He did. So he was our guest player.
He was our guest little starter. And that was the thing. Jake, because he was playing at 15, was at the top of the team sheet. Oh, yes. And Alfie was at the bottom.
So
the top of the tail.
Bookended.
Yeah, the new team sheet.
That's one to treasure, isn't it?
It is. It is.
No, because as people who've listened to this will know, we're really sort of very pro the mums and dads of the players, because we know the hard work, the hard yards they've put in. So for the Saints to recognise that with that
it was great to see.
It's really nice,
and it was lovely that they were with, of course, the generation of mums and dads. The Hendys were there, the Locketts were there. It was just lovely to see that all the families were gathering pitch side and nattering about their charges. It was a good game. with an odd result. But no, we won't go there because the end of the game just got a bit mad.
It did all go a bit mad, really, and I can say I think it was. We probably gained more from it than they did. Maybe I was just impressed with. I don't know, a few seasons back, as soon as replacements came on in any game at any level, everything went to hell in a handcart. We were doing rolling subs at a rate that it was quite difficult to keep up with at one point. And we didn't lose shape, we didn't lose fluency at all. I was very impressed with that.
Yeah, I mean, Angus Scott Young barely got his bum down on the seat.
Well, he was in and out. He was like a dog in a fair. It was just like, on, off, up, down.
So, yeah.
Dog in a fair, fiddler's elbow, all the other ones you want to think about.
Yeah, absolutely, we were there. And so, yeah, well done to everybody because it was a good day out. And it was a good crowd, not a bad crowd at all.
No.
In the morning, I think I need a little shout out for, I know we always talk about Toaster Under 9.
Yes, we do.
But we need to talk about Toaster Under 10s.
Toaster Under 10s, yeah.
Toaster Under 10s were part of the States Community Tournament and they ran around a lot. And they too, I can report, in the same way Harry has no idea whether he's won or lost. I think it was fairly clear that they were having a great time, really good rugby, but they got no idea whether we were winning or losing.
Excellent.
So I thought, well done, Toaster Under 10s for playing so well. It was quite a busy tournament. They had to play a lot of rugby.
Yeah.
It was back to back to back. They weren't mucking about. And congratulations to all the under 10s who, when I asked them to cheer for the under the post photo, best cheer of the season. Top work, everybody.
Well, it's interesting you say that because as we left the ground on Saturday, there was one of the I think he might be one of the under 9s coaches, but was there with some of the under 10s and was from Toaster and was asking them what they'd enjoyed most about the game. And they said the shouting. So I think with a theme going through.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they were very good. Normally it takes 2 goes, but no, under 10s straight there. Got the shot. Good stuff. And then of course we need to go back 24 hours.
Are we going to do player of the match for this?
Oh, you want to do player of the match now? I was going to.
Oh, do you want to hold it?
I was going to. Oh, no, let's do it now. Go on, let's do it
now. We don't want to lose people.
No. If you want to do player of the match, yeah.
Well, I say lose people, lose me. Because I'm going to look file that way. We talked about Stormers game. Push that to one side. Then you come back at me, and I'll be like, "Hey,
no, remember it again."
Yeah, that's too much. So yes, so player of the match. I'm looking at the backs mainly because the forwards were in and out, off and on, much more than. Although I do think this, as we said earlier, the front 3 played exceptionally well. Big Trev, particularly awesome. However, I can't. Yeah, I do know now. I'm talking through. Jake at fullback, because I just think he's amazing. He plays with such courage, such speed, and very talented player. Will Glister, because it was his first senior debut, was it?
No, he's played in
Premiership.
I think he's
played. But those South Africans were bigger than anybody, I think.
Yes,
possibly with the exception the top French sides. But I thought the person who really showed why we'd signed him, that we haven't had that much of a chance to see through injuries to him, was Berger Ovendal.
Yeah.
And I thought he played fantastically well. He could punching holes in the midfield to let the fleet of foot. He
and he meant it. I mean, you could see he was well up for it. And Berger knows where the red hat is. He's very good.
He's well trained.
He's well trained.
So he was, after some deliberation, there's quite a few who could have done it, but he was my player match.
Okay, with an honourable mention. I think we have to have an honourable mention for Big Trev.
Big Trev, and Trocky, and
Trocky again, who
was having a ball played against his.
Yes, he was putting it about. He was having a ball.
Yeah.
So good performances, blew off the cobwebs, but well done, Berger, because and he continued at training today. He was asking away quite badly, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
So England. Let's talk under 20s.
Oh,
what the
dear God! I mean, I
for those of you who don't know,
yes,
it was a draw at Bath,
Yeah.
Something 33 something. I'm not going to remember exactly.
Yeah.
I don't care. It was a draw when absolutely it should have been a win.
Yes. Yeah. I did not hear advantage being called at all. I don't think anybody else did. I don't think the Irish players did. I think they were as surprised as anybody else because their body language when he blew was that's the final whistle. Their body language went down, and then he went, "No, we're going back for a penalty over there."
Yeah, so he did signal it, and Mark Mapletoft. It was the restart, and he penalised, he says, an England player taking out an Irish.
No.
They were competing for the ball.
Yeah.
They were competing for the ball. I mean, I hate having to go at the refs, but it was such a significant passage to the game that empathy seemed to fly out the window.
It did.
And it marginal at best. But it's a particular bête noire of mine and Dr. Jones's about, and we are talking to potentially a couple of our refereeing friends,
yes,
coming on to talk about it, because I don't get the advantage rule anymore.
No.
Time it made sense to me. Now it doesn't. It seems to be, it's not actually advantage. It's, well, which sort of score would you like?
Yes, yeah, and yes, depending on who's refereeing and what side it is, but yeah, it does seem to be, especially as well as you're in the 22. As soon as you get penalty advantage, it really is where how are we going to
do a 5-pointer or do you want to
yeah,
which and so you might as well just say give them the 7 points and restart the game, because if that had happened, then England could have had another go. But seriously, need to do something about that. So that was, but well done to the guys. They haven't lost. They still got a chance for a championship.
Yes.
So good on them. And
there's some cracking rugby played by Barcelona.
Again, absolutely brilliant rugby. Our lads, played really, really well. Henry didn't have his best game in an England shirt.
He didn't, no, but I actually don't think it will have done him any harm.
No, you can't always be the golden child.
No, sometimes.
And those that took his place took their chance and played very well. So I'm interested to see how Mark Mapletoft goes this weekend.
Yes, I do think it was fairly obvious by the line-out not functioning so well how much we missed Craig White.
Yes.
Because it was, whereas the under-20 line has been functioning really, really well, it was very hit and miss.
And we missed his carrying ability as well.
Yes.
I mean, he does.
He's linking around the park.
Yeah, he's linking with Archie, of course, led to a trial in Coos game. So,
So it's hope, I don't know. Well, we'll see what
happens to young Craig. I know he's desperate to get back, and he's played very well for Bedford this season. So we'll see. Meanwhile, Saturday. Well, everybody rushed off to the bars and rushed off home.
We drove home listening to it, which was upsetting me. I can't deal with it. I had to go to Waitrose.
No, I couldn't deal with it either. I couldn't deal with it because I couldn't deal with Chris Jones's commentary.
Driving home. That is part of the issue, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe I should watch it without the sound, but then at one time you used to be able to have a choice of sound, so you could lose the commentary and just have the crowd sound. I don't think you can do that anymore, can you?
No,
that was an experiment that would have suited me fine. So I went off to Waitrose and I sat in the car park just to check what the result was before coming home, and that's it, and because all the media was primed that Ireland were going to win. So, James Lowe's second try secures Ireland's win. So I said, well, to be fair, I thought we'd lose by a lot more than that. And then I got in and I went, well, that was disappointing. He went, no, we won. What? What?
Yeah, what a victory.
What a victory.
What a victory. And again, playing chaotic attacking rugby with fantastic lines being run by several of the players.
Yeah,
notably one G. Furbank and one Dave Mitchell.
Yeah. And it does actually seem as if Borthwick has now got the measure of Mitch and is letting him play Mitch's way, not trying to get him to play like Ben Young's.
Yeah. No, hold on to that, look, because we've got media watching the keys very shortly. Anyway, yes. Anyway, I thought it was a power game. England just went after them, and Ireland didn't quite know how to respond.
No,
They were very hesitant. It was a power game that I have to say the England pack were outstanding. I think moving, and this was Courtney's idea. I don't know, obviously his influence on the coaches, but he wrote in the Times last week that the coaching team should move Ollie Chessum to blindside. Absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
Well, because Chessum had the game of his career in a white shirt, and of course it meant we had Martin and Itoje in the engine room, which perfect, absolutely just perfect. So I think that the coaching team do actually this week deserve some plaudits. And they, you could see that the guys are starting to learn from each other. Although there is a bit of me that would like to see two Smiths rather than a Ford and a Smith that fly off.
Yes, definitely. I think that now time must be coming. Coming.
It has to come. So it's very exciting.
Very exciting.
This weekend we could be, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not tempt that. Meanwhile, the Blues in Cambridge. So we bumped into Jim Henry at training, one of the coaches who works with Mikey Rea at the Blues. And he smiled wryly and said, 5-0 at half time, Claire. I did think of you. And of course, there was that game at Lady Bay on Friday night with the remarkable scoreline at the end, forget half time, Nottingham 0, Hotbury 3.
Oh, gripping.
Can you imagine the poor souls? Anyone who's been to Lady Bay knows the wind just whistles straight down the pitch. So they would have been frozen. And they basically watched. It must have been a penalty.
Yeah, gripping. That one must have been.
Anyway, I felt that Jim's paying at half time, but as it turned out, the Blues ran out comfortable winners with a bonus point win in the second half. So I don't know whether they had the conditions in the second half or what. But well on the Blues, 5 points on the road, and only 20 minutes from where I live. And of course, I was at Gardens. There you go. Hey ho. Loughborough, on the other hand, a difficult trip to Sandy Park. How often do we say that?
Yeah, always.
And so, brush yourselves down, ladies.
Pick yourselves up.
Pick yourselves up. You've got a big few weeks for many of you. Yeah, for Six Nations.
Six Nations, yeah. So we've got a few. Was it 3, 4?
We've got 4 the England team, and I haven't heard the Scotland team. So we've got, and look on my notes. I made notes.
Yeah.
Sadia Cabaya, Kath O'Donnell, Helena Rowland, and Emily Scarrett, who must be like all their Christmases have come at once.
Yeah.
So well done. And then Lily Eves Campion is also training with the squad as injury. Well done them. Toaster under nines.
Toaster under nines, they trained on Sunday morning, rolled around in the mud, very muddy.
Lovely.
Very muddy, apparently, but just about managed to finish training before the rain came in. So it was all managed to seek shelter before they got drenched on the rained on. I think it was the under 12s who were still training, and it was horrible.
Yes, I ended up in entirely the wrong gear. I was determined it was spring. So
on
Saturday. So I did have several layers underneath my fleece. Didn't work.
That wind was
bitter.
Yeah. Well, it was what we call a lazy wind.
Oh,
go straight through you. All around you, go straight through you.
Very good. It did. But it was great fun. Pitchside. It was great fun. Now I am actually wearing today, after our discussion last week, this is a 95-96 vintage shirt. One of my favourites. It's not the original one. So I had the £13.
No, because you couldn't have had a crest on it, could you?
Exactly. Rather pointedly, the lady said no.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one does, but notice it looks nothing like the current. Well, I mean, vaguely like. So there's no red in the rose.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, they're looking. I've got it on my big screen here.
They're red in the road.
In the rows, and
The scallops have got a bit out of control.
yeah, no, they're huge. And the one now we have now is in a shield.
The shield. And of course it says, and my husband will be very pleased it says this, Northampton Football Club.
Yeah.
No reference to Saints whatsoever. Or rugby.
That is quite different. Because I'm just looking, the whole thing, the castle proportionally is bigger, I think, on this.
Yeah, it's
the wings.
very...
It's quite, it has actually quite changed.
Yeah,
Even
Sunday, the supposed halos, those are winged whatevers, they're not just lines.
They look like dashes there. They look like hyphens that need to be removed.
Oh,
which brings
hold that
us-
thought. Hold
Yeah.
that thought.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Firm Security is Mr. Barwell's.
Oh, yes.
And the previous shirt to this, or maybe it was the post shirt, there's a version of this shirt where Firm Security was here. And anybody who had any sort of cleavage, it was just inappropriate.
Yeah.
That's all I can
Yeah.
say. But also, it peeled off. So you spent the entire season trying to put the letters back on.
Well, you don't. I'm sure you'd have helpful chaps come. Can I help you stick your letters back on?
Oh, yes. Various Essex pubs, people were, yeah, you can imagine where I lived at the time. But it is now hanging over in the club because the club were looking for that shirt.
Oh.
And I thought, well, the letters are all over the shirt. So they glued the letters all back on. And it's now in a frame somewhere in the club. I think in the stairwell leading up to the offices.
We'll have a look next time.
Yeah.
Next one.
So that's my shirt. But yeah, you can see the crest and how it's not the same.
Same at all. It's really quite markedly different.
Markedly different. And it's been through lots of more incarnations than that. So it's vaguely the same.
Yes.
And certainly, as I said to several people last week, the name of the football club.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's throughout here. That's changed several times, but no reference to the name. But it's black, green, and gold, which is we're told is the thing that we most care about. I think we do, don't we?
I think so. I would say so.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. I just thought
winged haloed lion things.
They're rampant, aren't they?
Rampant haloed winged lion things.
Yes. With no yellow in the nose, never. And it's a Yorkshire rose.
Well, that's weird because the whole thing about the Northampton rose surely is that it's
got
red in it.
Well,
was it because they weren't paid to have red putty? Was it cost more?
Probably.
Yeah.
Knowing the club at the time. Yes. Anyway, there you go.
There we go.
I just thought I'd mention that. So I thought the family stuff, as I said, we said earlier, that was going on at the gardens with all the families there was great. But I actually thought particularly that article that the club wrote about the Garside family and their experience on Saturday, I think was lovely.
Yeah.
Because not many supporters think about those things. I mean, yes, I think most supporters who are parents are well used to standing on a touchline in a howling gale thinking, oh, please let this end soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't necessarily think about, the travails of being a professional sportsman and how hard it is. And, even when you think you've made it, you haven't really made it.
Yes.
And actually, that opportunity on Saturday for the two brothers the previous two brothers were on the pitch at the same time for the Grayson brothers.
Yes.
At Saints. And that was fleeting. Yeah. Trying to get... I actually... Jake doing his turnstile impression, looking for his brother in midfield. He actually referred to it in the article. Was the only time I actually managed them to get in the same airspace because they were running off each other all the time. They were clearly the moves. So well done to the Saints. And thank you to the two boys for being so helpful.
Yeah.
Photos. Yeah. Because I know it's not uppermost in your mind. But yeah, no, good stuff. Media Watch.
Well, I haven't really been watching the media, I must confess.
Well, we laughed. So last night, it being Tuesday today.
Oh, yeah.
Last night we watched Look East.
One was making cakes.
No, we had to watch it, you see.
Yeah, you see, I now missed it.
So, rightly, it was all about the lad from Chelmsford who was racing for Ferrari in...
yes.
Oliver Bierman, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that absolutely he deserved his moment because it's remarkable that he did so well coming seventh. Not that I follow it because it calls me rigid. But that's a great story, so I get that. And then, of course, inevitably we had loads of football.
Trampolining?
No,
No trampoline. Basketball?
no,
Oh, okay.
no. But we did have a review of the Six Nations.
And who did they manage to highlight? Because there's no young. Freddie Stewart wasn't playing. Who did they manage to fish up that was...
Well, they did talk about Norfolk Leicester Tigers players, but they actually bigged up George. They talked about George.
Excellent. No. Oh, we realise we've got somebody from board. Well, I was going to say Tommy Freeman. Oh.
So they did big up George. They said, and his final words were, "The Saints players are flying." So you thought, oh well, fair dues at last. So well done, Lucas. You noticed. Rugby Union Weekly. I listened to the one. I haven't listened to yesterday's one, but I listened to the one directly after the game, and I thought Grace Andors did a super job of actually highlighting what works, why it works. And it was really, really good. But Mr. Jones, my namesake, he can't bring himself, can he?
No.
He can't. Come on, Chris. Give the Saints lads a bit of credit. You were all for putting the boozy in George when it came to Edinburgh. Now, trick of them.
Yeah.
Say nice things about him. You can do it. But then the tin lid. I'm afraid the prize of media tin lid for this week, if we had one, is Stuart Barnes.
Oh.
I know I'm not talking about Martin Samuels in the Times.
No.
Get over yourself, Samuels. But I am going to talk about somebody who thought, given he played in the position and at international level, would have something sensible to say.
And what did he have to say? He's never... Well,
George Ford was sublime. It was a wonderful performance from the fly half. I mean, I read it and I thought, had he filed that before the game? Because, I mean, yes, George did. He did, unlike the previous time when he was trying to throw it at Ferb's head. We did actually get the players connecting with each other. But one of the major jobs of a fly-half is on the pitch, and he was in front of the post for one of them, is to kick the sodding goals.
Yeah. Would have made it,
It would have made a material difference.
Yeah.
So I'm really sorry. He did not have a sublime game. He left too many points on the pitch, which, given the reason that they play him,
I was going to say, that's why he's there.
Yeah, 2 drop goals that were dribblers. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
So the irony of irony when Marcus Smith wins it with a drop goal.
Yeah.
Although he did win big game 9 million with a drop goal for Harlequins. So he's obviously got the bug.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, Stuart, seriously, mate.
He's a strange fish.
Yes. Interestingly, I think after the nonsense written about England after the Scotland game, because some of it was just completely over the top, there have been questions asked about punditry and rugby union, and seriously, there have to be.
Yeah.
Because we deserve better as a sport. So
Yes.
I am not a writer. You are a writer. But I think,
There's no... So back in the days, I mean, even John Reason, when he was writing back in the day, he would seem to be controversial, but at least he analysed things. Where they don't even seem to put in any analysis. There seems to be an agenda, or they'll just go with, that team was rubbish, that team's really good, or, there's an agenda that a particular team is untouchable and everything they do is brilliant. It's been with the Irish team. For years it was Saracens, and, they cannot be criticised, but there's no actual analysis of what happened, and the skill of writing about rugby seems to have been lost a little.
And I think there's too much reliance on data. So Oval do a remarkable job with the statistics that they provide. But sometimes I do wish pundits just looked at what was in front of them.
Well, Matt Dawson did say that about it's time not to keep looking at the data.
Yeah,
to look
the
at
data
what's in front of you.
And that's why the way the players are playing. So So I still think the jury is out as to how, and we've got a lot of rugby to play between now and before we go into the summer tours. I just hope that it improves, that we don't just always write about the names.
Yeah.
The Finn Russell. Finn Russell sneezes. Yeah. Everyone's, because he does this to the shed, it's no. There are lots of characters.
Yeah,
that deserve, that deserve plaudits. Finn is a player. I'm not saying he's a great player because I have a view of Mr. Russell. And
very similar to mine.
and he does have his moments, and too many of them. Scotland fans. And yeah, I just think the pundits need to think about telling all the stories associated with our great sport, not just the obvious ones. And some,
I think it does seem to be that they quite often seem to go for the easy win, and it's something they don't seem to do any real digging about the players. I know nothing about something. I'd have to go and research it. There's not enough bringing forward people like Ollie Chesham, for example. The
Chesham story is a fabulous story. The two brothers. I'm actually seriously worried as a Saints supporter because two Cheshams in a Tigers team.
Yeah,
it's going to be a real handful.
Yeah,
and there's a big story there about how one has played serious. I mean, given how young he is, we keep saying that about Saints players, but I think they have got two gems on their hands.
Yeah,
that could be your next generation of Tigers player that we're all going, oh my God, it's the Chesham.
Yeah.
And the story there, I don't know it. No, nobody's written it. I mean,
exactly. Why is there are great gaps there? I mean, I've heard about Mara Itoje. Cows come home, and it was interesting with her a couple of times, and unless he, found a cure for cancer, it's got a bit tedious for you now. But they're missing. They seem to have gone with all these other the easy ones and not been digging about stories about the others.
Yeah, I think there's lots of stories in the England Cup. I mean, we have had. So I think some of the stories have been led by the players themselves. So earlier in the Six Nations Fremo.
Yes,
talking about
that was very
being very open about it, and that was great. But that is a one-off. You don't get much about that. So I absolutely. Although I did see, it's not often. This is second Tiger players who are saying nice things about it. There is an interview that England have done with Dan Cole about his relationship
with Joe
Lamada, which is brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
It's brilliant, and you just think that's what people want to hear. That and don't give me the they don't. They're very controlled. No, there's been lots of access to lots of players in this tournament. They've realised that actually Netflix.
Yes, they must.
But they've actually got a story this time. Yeah, in a parade.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Anyway, so any pundits that want to come and have a chat with me and Liz,
we can help.
Yes. Photography corner.
Yes, photography corner.
I'm going to be busy this week, but I'd like to say, everybody who's examining that photo, get over yourselves. All right?
Honestly, what on earth?
We're not royal watchers, but
for goodness sake,
what
the heck?
Get over yourself.
Conspiracy theory gone berserk.
There are many things that are wrong with that photo, but the thing I'd like to say is there is no photo that you see of mine that has not been edited.
Yeah.
There's a never negative in there. I always edit my photos. I've had conversations with supporters who go, but you shouldn't. And I go, why not? It's a bit like saying you don't process your film when it comes out of the camera. Of course you do.
Yeah.
Some of the world's greatest photographers, and Ansel Adams, he had a team of people who did his dodging and burning and all the rest of it. So editing is a part of the photographic process. The challenge that we have these days is the tool set is very clever, and the tool set is also very stupid. So, leaving sleeves in things that shouldn't be there is very easy to do. So, for the budding rugby photographers out there, always process your photo. All I'm going to say, never just put them out the camera. Always. Right, there you go. I'll get off my soapbox.
Okay.
Walking rugby.
I don't know because I wasn't there.
But we let Callum and Molly rush off.
And there's
Callum was very pleased to be on the pod last week.
Yes, and there's talk about having a kit for walking rugby, apparently. Will it be a matching kit? I don't know. I might. No, I won't be there this week because first. I'm not actually avoiding. I don't know. I'm just really cheering on.
All right.
Possibly have to sell a car and walk. But no.
And the old dinner?
Wait.
The arse of red or...
They do cocktails since the bar wearing them.
It's changed.
Oh, yeah. So, but we've got the game against Coventry on the 21st. But again, I love this one. It's 13.
Sorry, we've still a game against Coventry on the 21st.
Yeah, it's quite terrifying because we've no idea. I think this came a little more swiftly than anybody. Oh, that'd be nice to arrange a game. And well, it's on the 21st. Great.
If you see Nick Johnston pitch side, I'd just run if I...
Well, I don't think it's that. I don't think they have much to do with the senior side. And if he wants to win at everything, if we're going to start that nonsense, I'm having Mr. Outwood then. Come with me. And I'm sorry, Nick Johnson strikes no fear in my heart.
Yes, Radlers.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway, we know you want to be defence coach.
I was watching it very carefully.
Yes.
I want
shape of your
I want to know the shape of my D is as well.
Yeah. Anyway,
zigzag's a shape, isn't it?
Yes. You don't want dog legs, do you?
Well, apparently not.
No dog legs. St. Paul's Club. Is there something happening in the village?
No, we were not going to be there on Friday.
Right.
We are still looking for volunteers to help hand out flags for the Munster game. If you should have had it for your members, you should have had an email about it. Anybody else who wants to help hand out flags, if they want to just get in touch, send us
underneath below. Yes, below.
We can draft you into our volunteers army.
Excellent.
Dulfit's
garden shed.
Well, then give us a break. There's no room for it. We haven't got your room.
I said we've got the barn and the shed.
We've got room for the gazebo. But we will be back with a vengeance for the Sarries game, which of course is hurtling up on us. So I'm thinking, it's a Sarries game. It's Easter. Yeah, it's only the end of this month, isn't it?
It's all happening very, very
So this weekend we've got Sale. Next weekend we're in Bristol.
And that is a huge game.
Yeah.
It's a huge game for lots of reasons. One is, I think all of us feel losing, and it was my 500th game, and I felt so sorry for the lads. Losing that game against Bristol, which we should have lost, with very weird performance against Sale in October. I think they want to put that on right. Yeah. So the trip to Ashton Gate is very, very important. It will be interesting to see what team we go with.
Yes.
Because,
we have to rest some of the England players.
Yes, well, they always have to have a week off at some point in the...
So do what? Rest. For example, let's take Mitch because... I know he's missed a game. Let's take Fremo, who's played all the games, so he has to rest.
Yeah.
So do we rest him for Bristol or Sarries or Munster?
Well, who knows?
Who'd be a DOR?
Exactly. Because, of course, the boys want to be involved in everything.
Yeah.
Particularly now. So it's going to be interesting to see what combination. The good news is Mr. Ram is back from Australia, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
And he didn't know which way was up.
He did, yeah.
Yes, and just got back.
His head was still somewhere over Singapore. He did seem to know.
He knew very well. He was doing well at training today. And Mr. Seabrook and Mr. Hendy running around.
And the good news is, whatever procedures George Hendy has had, his feet and legs are still on the wrong way round.
Yeah, we can report. Even though they've got nice yellow boots.
Very yellow boots.
Talking of
yellow boots now.
You've changed, young man.
You've hair.
And hair. 5th haircut of the season. So the great news that happened today, Tuesday, is that Elliot Millar Mills...
Not hyphenated,
Scotland. Oh, sorry. Elliot Millar Mills has extended his contract at Saints, and I can't tell you how pleased I am for him. He is a delightful man and has just absolutely gone for it. He's taken his opportunity at Saints. I didn't know until today, when talking to Lizzie Goodchild, that he made his Premiership debut with us. You just assume because he'd been at Wasps the like that he played in the Premiership, but he hadn't. His debut came for us, which must have been at Sale.
I'm just trying to. He made his.
Must have been at Sale. He played in that Sale game up at the.
So he played his debut for the club in the Premiership Rugby Cup, but then he must have made his Premiership
debut. I think at Sale. It must have been at Sale. So brilliant stuff, Elliot. You know we love you, but those yellow boots, you've changed. Oh, you've changed. And he certainly changed his haircut. I mean, for a player who's been with us a year, have a look in my galleries. Yes, there's a lot of different hairstyles. And to the point that, you have to do a double take when he's playing for Scotland. That Elliot.
Yeah, it's a good job he got the yellow boots, actually.
Yeah, I was the way I knew he was. So it's brilliant. It's brilliant to see. He played a lot of Championship rugby, and it's great that he's doing so well now in the Premiership. So well done him.
Well, as doing so well in the Premiership and getting the international call up as well.
Yeah, and
when you think so, he didn't make his Premiership debut until this season. And now he's anything like Ireland set up.
Yeah, he's doing really, really well. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to the Sale Sharks game. I think it's going to be an absolute fun.
Should be good fun.
More cobwebs to be removed.
Yeah.
I would imagine there'll be two more senior. Well, we know that our Australian will be desperate to get out there.
Yeah.
As part of his. And then likewise our ginger representative.
Yes, he'll do that with Joe.
I imagine Courts will want a bit of a bit of a gallop, around the wing.
I have to say, Courts, that training was whizzing around the place on an electric scooter. It's just quite a terrifying sight.
Yeah, he moves at speed, doesn't he?
Yes, and was
yes.
I'm sure I can't be safe. Anybody.
I have actually seen Freemo on a little motorbikey thing, which I noticed was in the back of the van. Kev's van.
Talking of Kev, sheep news.
Oh gosh, we had so much sheep.
We've learnt so much about sheep.
But the thing that everybody needs to know, and get your hands on this if you've got any sheep that could be orphaned, Lynx Africa.
If you spray the nose of the ewe and the lamb you want to put to the ewe with Lynx Africa, presumably just blows their and sends a smell completely out of the water. They have no idea what they're sniffing, and that
apparently works every time.
It works every time.
Sales of Lynx Africa go through the roof at this time.
Nobody knows what we do now. It's for orphaned lambs.
Anyway, yes. So and Kev's sheep are not to be argued with, are they?
No, apparently not.
No. I mean, you sent your pictures of them.
Quite chunky sheep.
They are serious sheep.
So trivial sheep.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not. Well, yeah, they are. Very solid.
Come on, if you think you're right enough sheep.
Very solid sheep. Front row sheep.
Front row sheep. Yes, as an ex-front rower, that makes sense, really.
Yeah, front row sheep. Yeah.
So, congratulations, Kev. It sounds like
7 more to go.
7 more to go, and you're done. We also heard his ringtone.
Yeah, Kev the Kitman's ringtone is the sheep bleating.
Sheep bleating. And I observed that you came up with a...
I was really disappointed when the truth came out, but yeah.
Anyway, I observed, well, what happens when he's surrounded by sheep? He's not going to be on his phone.
Well, I confidently said he will know the bleat of his own sheep. And so he will know it's his ringtone.
So then Kev comes back after his phone call and says, yeah, but the trouble with this ringtone
is when I'm with the sheep,
I don't hear it. See?
So I was very disappointed. I was really disappointed.
Yes, apparently it has gone for meetings. Yes, has been known to say what?
Yes, a bit of eye rolling, I suspect, went on with that.
Well, they would all know whose it was.
Acronyms. You don't want to be sitting on a train thinking, is that my phone? You know, or in the crowd. How often in a crowded place you think, is that
You're
my
gonna hear
phone?
sheep.
Even when you're holding it in your hand and it's yours. But sheep, bleating sheep.
So yes, so we've got a big weekend of rugby ahead of us.
We have.
Sale Sharks on Friday, and I've got my good friend, Mr. Scott Kelby,
Yes.
who's joining me. It's pitch side, so do come and say hello. Scott would love to meet everybody. And then it's all go international rugby, isn't it?
It is.
We've got the under-20s. I don't know when they must play at the
Thursday night.
Are they playing it?
Excuse me, do they talk?
She's just doing a bit of research. We've got the under-20s who could win a final.
Could do.
And we've got obviously England in France on Saturday night in
Leon, aren't they?
Lyon, yes.
Which would have been grand.
Yes, that would have been a trip, wouldn't it? We do like Lyon, though.
We loved Leon, didn't we?
That was actually, that's one of my favourite Saints. Yeah, that's right up there. It's one of my favourite Saints Heineken Cup.
That fantastic restaurant that we down by the river.
Yes.
Oh, that food was good.
Yes, it was very good. And we I mean, you know, but
It's their fixtures to this place because it's just winding up. It's a steam-driven computer.
and England under-20s aren't playing this weekend. Yes,
There they are. They are. They are. And I like their night at 8 o'clock.
So unfortunately, you'll be on at the same time as us. So we'll need to catch up on the iPlayer later.
Yeah.
But good luck to the England boys, and particularly obviously Archie, Toby, and Henry, if you've picked. And sorry, I didn't say that.
And Craig, if he's fit enough.
Craig, if he's fit enough. I would be surprised.
I'd be very surprised.
But anyway, well done to them on a great campaign. And look, they're top of the shop.
Yeah.
And then, well, what do we say about training? A final word. Let's finish with training.
Training.
Did you enjoy your watching training?
I did. I was fascinated. Watching. Well, I'm watching the defence and stickers. Métier now. No, it was.
She's still worried whether she's got the right shape.
No, I am now very worried about the shape of the D. But yeah, it was so upbeat. I mean, the tempo was fast. I mean, they are non-stop, aren't they? But
and measuring things to the seconds. So you'll hear the coaches go, we've got 20 seconds left, and they pack a lot into that 20 seconds. And I think the thing that I find fascinating is the scenarios that actually get more complicated as the day goes on. You're 3 points down, you've got 30 seconds to go, you've got a line out on the 22, and attacking line out on the 20, but you're down to 13 men. You know, this sort of scenario planning that they...
And the painting the picture was really good. It's a 7-man line out, right, we're going to do it now. You did that with quick ball, now we want to do it with slow.
Yeah, what happens if this ball's slow?
Yeah. It was amazing, and no, they're a lot of energy.
Lots and lots of energy. And from all the coaches.
Yes.
From all the coaches. And then, of course, you've got Daz taking his helicopter view, watching everything.
Yeah.
Standing back, taking it all in. In fact, I think they sometimes, it feels to me, and I don't know how it works, but it does feel like they take it in turns to stand back. So, so you don't get to that point, you're always too close
to the action.
And can't see the wood for the trees.
And I was going to say, there's also no quarter given. Nobody holds back on anything. The tackles were going hard and wasn't quite the scenes at Leicester of old where they're beating each other up, but that kind of stuff.
It's intense. It's intense. But it's short, sharp. Yeah. So you'll get a move and then it gets called, and then you get a move and then it gets called. So it's not long periods of people, running into each other. And it's intense while it lasts.
And the sort of different models they were working on as well was just intriguing about getting the balance so that defending and running between, right, you run to that can and then you've got to defend against the player coming around the corner, and
worrying about body
I've
Rad as poles. Rad as poles play a big part. He's a orange. Well, not that little actually.
no, they're quite big. And they've got a very sharp point of it.
I'm not quite unnerved by those.
Oh,
poles.
I was. And they had. I wasn't quite sure where the javelin was coming in.
When we go to browns that have plastic pitches, we have to have little ends. You can't really put.
Well, I could have Saracens, couldn't you?
Well, you wouldn't be able to get. No, the thing with Saracens is like concrete. You wouldn't be able to get it in. So anyway, so episode 18.
Yes, just the two of us.
Just the two of us. Have a great game, everybody, this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. It'll be just the two of us again.
Possibly.
But we are trying to. Our two guests are very keen to come.
Yes.
But they got day jobs. Bloody hell.
Imagine that. Well, who we might rustle up for next week.
Well, I know you're busy working on things. Yes. And but thank you to everyone who listens. Do subscribe.
Yes.
It's great when people wander up to us. I had lots of people at the game wandering up saying, "Really enjoy your pod." I've now started getting random people at home saying,
"Oh,
yeah." So that's great. If you've got any thoughts on what you'd like us to talk about, always open to hear about.
Yes, any ideas?
Any ideas? If people you want us to try and get onto the pod,
yes, give us a yell.
Give us a yell.
If there's somebody you think, well, I see them, I have no idea what they do.
Yeah.
Then let us know, and we will do what we can.
Yep. So that was the Ladies Wot Pod,
episode 18.
Episode 18.
Thank you very much, and bye everybody.